heavy hand runs over my slightly disheveled feathers and down to my chin. I almost purred with the tenderness that overflowed my chest, which is unusual for owls, and exhaled, "Blitzy, it's beautiful." There was silence for a moment, and the hand slid off my neck, and I opened one eye with a sigh to see what had happened. The demon sitting against me is looking at me with eyes full of shock. Yes, he's an imp, but this isn't Blitz. I swallow and look away, trying to hide my embarrassment. Hell, to say that in front of a completely different demon. "Honey," the imp begins in his velvety and strangely bass voice. "I know you're hurting for Blitz. Everyone at that party was hurting for him in some way, but he's not here right now." "It's just you and me," he said the last phrase in a somewhat predatory tone and turned me around to face him. Now we were sitting nose to beak with each other. Too close, just as I dreamed, but maybe not with him. There's passion in his eyes, which he expresses with a tender kiss that, unlike me, isn't going to stop, playfully about to entwine our tongues together. But I pull away, breathing nervously as I move closer to the edge of the bed we were now on. That night, after the anti-Blitz party, Ed, and that was my new acquaintance's name, called me over to his place, and I, a stupid drunken fool, said yes. That night, we had nothing but passionate kisses and sleeping in each other's arms. He said we should learn a little about each other now, and then we could do more. That night, I imagined plots like a romantic movie, about love at first sight. But by morning, these thoughts were weathered away with the alcohol, leaving only the reflection that this meeting was another mistake in my already worthless life. Gradually sliding to the edge, I realize that I can no longer, and any minute now I will collapse on the floor, which is exactly what happened. I sat down on the wooden floorboards and rubbed the bruised spot under the gaze of Ed, whose full name I'd never gotten around to asking, but something told me it was definitely Edgar. "Stolly, are you all right?" the demon asked worriedly, glancing at me, but apparently he wasn't going to offer any help. "Yes, everything's fine." I laughed nervously, stuttering a little and jumping up from the floor, which, unlike the bedroom in my castle, wasn't carpeted with soft rugs. "You know," I continued awkwardly, grabbing the red vest I'd taken off last night because I'd been uncomfortable with it in my sleep, "I should probably go. Thank you for the time we spent together." I try to end this unmeeting optimistically. "Well, I hope that maybe we'll see each other someday." I nervously chuckle, pulling on the scarlet piece of clothing. "Oh, I'll see you tomorrow then. Hopefully I'll be able to see your smile again. You were wonderful yesterday. I hope I can bring out the romantic side of you again. I just think you're embarrassed by this closeness. I don't think Blitz gave you what I can give you." He squinted slyly. "Shall we call?" I wanted to argue that I didn't have his number, but I decided not to argue because how much do I remember under the influence of last night's several bottles of liquor? "Sure. See you soon. I can't wait to see you again. It's just that my daughter is probably waiting for me," I blurted, fastening the gold clasps on my vest. "Daughter? I didn't know you had a daughter. Strange, all of hell knows about it," I chuckled. "Ex-husband," I explained. "Wait, so I'm your third partner, if not your fourth?" With Stell, the only thing we had in common was a child, a daughter. And with Blitz, I sighed. "Well, just the wrong demon, that's all." "That's all? I hope the saying God loves a trinity doesn't play tricks on us, right?" "Right." I stretched out and crumpled goodbye, running out of the room in search of the door to the exit, to freedom. But suddenly, I find myself in a corridor with a series of rooms. A dormitory? Or is it a hotel? I asked myself, pulling my phone out of my pocket and walking toward the stairs that led to the first floor and then to the street. Looking through the calls and messages, I didn't find much excitement from the people around me. Even Octavia didn't write anything, but that was the best part. Maybe she didn't notice my absence. Oh well, at least my sweet owl didn't worry. The message was only from one contact. "Blitzy, how I hate you." At first, I wondered for a second why I hadn't blocked his contact, but then another question came to my mind, no less worrying. Is Blitzy Blitz texting me first? Something new. After pondering for a couple seconds, I logged into the chat room where 3 messages were waiting for me. "Blitzy, how I hate you. 024, sorry. Very sorry for most likely disappointing you. Have fun with that demon tonight. Let me know how good he is. 0752. That demon must be pretty good if you're still asleep, or maybe you had a rough night. Well, I'm happy for you. The last post was a picture with a brief text underneath it. In the photo, the imp is instead with Luna and Mox in the mountains with tents. Apparently, Blitzo decided to relax after the tension of yesterday, which he did in a nature vacation. The IMP boss was smiling with his sharp teeth, holding kebab skewers in one hand. 0753, I hope you're doing well. I'm out with the guys in the countryside in the human world. It's a nice vacation. Maybe I'll even take some time off. No orders coming in right now anyway. I smiled reading the short messages, which were apparently filled with sincere feelings. My heart was warmed by the thought that the demon was now happy and using the crystal I had given him for his benefit. But at the same time, there was a small reflection on the question of whether I could be there now, with them and Via, instead of in the stuffy bedroom of some dormitory or a cheap hotel. Then a photograph caught my attention, and I almost dropped my phone at the sight of it. My heart raced, and I felt a slight heat on my cheeks. It turned out that my feelings for Blitz hadn't gone away, only giving way to the misery that now gave way to old mixed emotions and love, for him alone. Tell me, how can I go on living when your smile alone can destroy the cosmos? When the sun hits your eyes? How do you fight this chemistry, tell me? I am lying on the couch with my legs under me and shaking hands, trying to write something, or at least to answer these messages. Then swallowing, I leave the phone in the hall and go to the kitchen to make tea and calm my already shaken nerves. It turned out that Octavia hadn't spent the night at home at all, but had also gone to that mini campground I was so anxious to get to now, at Luna's invitation. Via had left me a note written in beautiful, albeit shaky handwriting saying she would be back in the evening and not to worry. If my daughter is going to be protected by the IMP, I'm not worried, just worried that their boss might turn Octavia against me by telling me about the casual affair. As happy as I was that Blitz was doing well, I couldn't get those words he'd said during the full moon out of my head, and the events afterward couldn't get out of my mind either. I poured almost half of the tea herbs in the box into the mug, then proudly put 4 spoons of sugar in it and poured boiling water over it. After waiting for the mixture to steep for a while, I took the mug labeled Mother of the Year and headed out into the hall to pass the time until Octavia was moved back to hell. Looking at my phone screen, I noticed that while I was gone, I had gotten another new message again. It was a video without any text, and again from Blitzy. I pressed the start button without a second thought and lay back down to watch a sort of 2-minute mini-clip. At the first frames, I noticed Vija eating a sausage and waving cheerfully at the camera. My heart fluttered with the pleasant emotions filling it now. Next in the camera's field of vision was Luna descending from a rope, apparently a homemade one, since there was no safety net. Well, an IMP is an IMP. Then the cameraman went to the open tent, near which the inseparable couple, Millie and Moxie, were sitting and discussing something heatedly. Millie was discussing, and her husband was listening, and sometimes delicately agreeing. "Say hello to Stolly," the demon holding the camera said in a slightly husky voice, and I flushed with embarrassment. It made me a little angry when Ed used that uncommon nickname, and it was this morning that I realized how Blitz felt when I called him too affectionately. But now I liked the short form of my name, especially when it came out of his mouth. "Hi!" Millie exclaimed, waving her hand vigorously. "Hi," Mox said calmly, smiling and sitting the girl back down. "This is how we rest," grins the voice of the unknown demon. "Mox, you lazy ass, hold the smartphone." The subordinate sighs and rolls his eyes, but still gets into the role of reporter, showing me the demon who was smiling like he won $1 million. "You know, I wouldn't mind if you hung out here with us." Someone's pink hand slapped him on the back and he hissed, "I hope I'm not boring you." That was the end of the set, and I jumped. "Of course you did, Verosica," as if Blitzo could do anything romantic on his own. 3 letters. Definitely N-E-T, but how cute. I covered my eyes and sighed. But for what? Did I mean anything to him? Or is this a way to help me from Mayday? What is all this for? How can he love me and I'm destroying myself? I'm too weak a particle to be with you. To be in you, I'm sorry. You think she's going to stop texting me now? Blitz says with a slight tremor in his voice, clutching the phone in one hand, almost squeezing it in half. I think? Veronica says irritably. I know it's going to be like this. You're overdoing it. You're imposing. You're breaking her romantic interest in you even more. You think why she danced with Ed and not you. Ware wrinkled his nose but said nothing. He wanted to say something mean, but he couldn't do it now. Mayday was trying to help him, an incorrigible demon with problems. The girl sighed. There was no mood to argue even with Blitzo. Just why is he so stupid? Why doesn't he understand such elementary things? Well, boy, Vare's mind raced, and she grinned. Against all expectations, Blitz's phone rattled, but he apparently wasn't in a hurry to see who the message was from. Probably those Bez services again, Imp explained, but the phone made the nasty sound again, and then another and another and another. Wearer chuckled, not Stolly, but when he looked at the notifications, he almost dropped the phone from his hands. Oh, she answered, the demon exclaimed nervously. So read it, Veronica demanded with undisguised curiosity. Stolly, wow, this is beautiful. It makes me want to go to the countryside. I wouldn't mind going out, too bad I don't have anyone to go with. Blitz frowned. No one to go with? What about me? The Deviless let out a chuckle. Dumbhead, that's a hint. You don't understand girls from the word at all. Puh, like you understand guys. Okay, I'm reading on. I'm doing great. Ed wasn't bad, but... Ware froze like he was having a heart attack, even though there was no way he could do that, being the devil already. Can't you read? No. He handed her the phone and pointed to where to read with his finger. But I can't hide the old feelings, and he won't replace you. Imp squirmed as if trying to hide the full force of those mixed emotions right now. Both the pounding of his heart and the tears involuntarily coming to his eyes. Maybe I was wrong about you. Maybe Goethe loves you that much. You know, Blitz, please don't break the heart of another demon in your life. You got enough people on your list who've been maimed by their own feelings for you. At least you'll save her feelings. Don't worry, Ver. Has Blitz ever failed you? When he said that, he got a non-committal look from Veronica. Well, only very rarely. Stolly's third message was, I'm sorry, I realize it's over between us, especially after what you and I said. But we can still be friends, right? Fourth, if you want to talk, we can call if you want. The fifth message was a picture of an owl girl with a smile on her face and a bunny made up of fingers. At the bottom was the text, Hope my daughter has a lot of fun. And then Blitz froze, clutching the phone tighter and tighter. That smile that spread to his fingertips, that beautiful smile worthy of shining. And Ware wants to be the happiest demon and the only one who will be able to summon it on that matchless face. The clouds will descend from their orbits, bowing before your smile. They will realize that space is shaky, nothing. Stolina clenched her glass of grape juice, which she used to brighten up her evening watching another love show, trying to rid her long-suffering head of intrusive thoughts about Blitz. But those, not giving rest, continued to fill the girl's head one after another, preventing her from watching TV. I guess, after that correspondence, nothing can distract me anymore. The owl sighed and sipped from her glass. Of course, now she could drink fine, expensive wine, but deciding that she had had enough of it since last night, she settled for juice, which still pleasantly coats her throat. The comforting silence that had set in was cut by the phone ringing, disrupting Lina's already unevenly paced train of thought. Probably Ed, the princess sighs, but when she sees the name pop up on the display, she immediately feels sweaty palms and her own pulse rate. Hello? Goethe asks a little hesitantly, picking up the phone. I could have said something else, but I won't spoil the atmosphere. Anyway, I'll drop off your daughter so she doesn't have to walk a few kilometers to the castle herself. So expect a delivery. Grins Ewer. His voice is fast, as if he's saying some kind of shorthand. Stolly smiles and says, expecting, then drops a little chuckle. Yes, they might not be what they used to be to each other anymore, but they'll still be friends, right? No, they're not friends. They're more than that. Yes, Let the Owl will no longer be able to talk to Blitz the way she dreamed of, to feel the hugs and scalding touches, but so pleasant that you want to melt in those arms. Let you have sold your soul, but there are freckles on your cheeks. Like a summer's day's started snow. Thank you so much for... The princess starts to thank Blitz, but a bouquet of blue orchids is shoved right in her face. It's for you in general. Somehow, Verosica helped? I chuckle. Why would Blitz give me a gift like that? No, you can imagine. I know how to do something myself. At the beginning, I was even surprised. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure, but in honor of what? In honor of the fact that, well, just starts stammering, feeling a slight shiver all over his body. Speaking romantic speeches was new to him. Tell me. Then I start, how to live on if one of your smiles will make me love you again, even if by force. Tell me? Then I'm not the only one who feels it, Blitz chuckles as he moves closer. I lean in, and he runs his hand over my chin feathers in a way that makes me shiver. He smiles, but not with a foreign grin, but with a smile that warms my heart. Native and most needed, like this demon kissing me passionately on the lips and then whispering softly, "Yeah. I will love you and want you, only me.